2023 is in the rearview mirror. And while Xbox fans are very optimistic about the future because we see the roadmap, we see the amount of games coming, I mean, who can deny that Xbox has a lot of games? And we're not only talking about the first party games by Xbox Studios, we still have, all the rumors of games that are in development. We still have, all the third party deals that would be announced by Microsoft. We still have, all the games that were in development in secret that could be stealth drop in one of those showcases. So it's very clear. Microsoft future is bright. Even Sony fans are now admitting it.
Right? Game Pass is also giving you third-party day and date games. Third-party day and date AAA games day one and exclusive games. How can you beat that? I'm just listen to me, man. How can you beat that? How can you beat that deal? I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Say what you want about Game Pass, but how can you beat a deal like that? You can't beat it. You getting third-party games day and date. Play Game Pass on your tablet. You could play Game Pass on your phone. You could play Game Pass on your fridge. You could play Game Pass on your TV. You could play Game Pass on your watch. You could play You could play Game Pass on your camera. You could play Game Pass on your computer. You could play Game Pass on your keyboard. You could play Game Pass on your mouse. I can make a freaking...
So yes, Xbox is looking good going into 2024 and Sony fans know it. Now when it comes to PlayStation in 2023, they didn't do much. Everyone could admit that they only had 2 games. Sony themselves admitted that in the Insomniac leaks documents. And when we look at what Sony is doing as a whole, we can only say that this is what the PlayStation community could be looking forward to in the near future.
Tired of playing brand new games?
Oh my God, yes!
Do you want to play something old again, but you just don't know where to turn? Introducing Sony PlayStation. Haven't played The Last of Us in the last 2 generations? Well, we've got great news for you. The Last of Us Remastered Remaster. Yes, we're remastering it yet again. Because why not? We know you'll buy it. Play through all those wacky adventures with Joel and Ellie once again. Oh, that Joel, get up already. We know you're not gonna die. Not yet, anyway. Oh, my bad. Did I give anything away? Of course I didn't. You've already played this game. So go out and buy The Last of Us Remastered Remaster and play the game that Sony knows you'll buy again and again.
Incoming soon, Demon Souls Remake Remaster.
Find these and more for $70 at Charlie's discount.
That's Fonz from Fonz Gaming there. But where's the lie? Where's the lie? Sony fans, they are kind of afraid of what Sony is going to do in the near future. Now, today, what we are going to talk about is, some of Sony's games that they would have announced, they are not being updated. And a matter of fact, Sony is rather silent about it. Then we'll talk about another game that was announced for the PlayStation 5 that is going to get delayed. And then we are going to finish off by talking about how one of the games that was remastered is not seeing the amount of profits that Sony expected. We're going to talk about all that and more. So let's talk about it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. So before we start the video, if you are interested in content like this, please consider subscribing. On a daily basis, we have these ponies speaking like this. So yes, support your boy and subscribe. Let's first start off by talking about Concord. You see, Concord was a game that was announced 7 months ago. Yes, 7 months ago. And during that 7 months, Sony, PlayStation had nothing to say about the game. Very, very little. They didn't give their fans any updates on the game. They didn't give their fans any new articles on the game. Nothing. No new videos, no new clips. It just seems that Sony is very silent about this game. And some fans are starting to worry. So much so that we saw this tweet. Goat Gaming tweeted, breaking. PlayStation fans are growing increasingly impatient with no news on the flagship game Concord. With no recent updates, pictures, or trailers, we are all losing hope in what could be one of the biggest disappointments of 2024. So yes, there is no new news about Concord. Now, could this be a result of what the new president of Sony did? You know, when he came in, he made some cuts when it comes to the live services games. He made some cuts when it comes to certain studios. Is it that the studio, which is Firework, is being affected by these changes? That is why they cannot, update their fans about this game that was announced 7 months ago. Nothing. So let me hear what you think about Concord. Do you think that, maybe they might give us an update in the next state of play? Is it that the studio is being affected? That is why they are not updating, Sony fans. What is going on with Concord? It is not looking too good already for PlayStation in 2024. Next up, it seems like the founder of Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, he is out of the air. Listen up.
One of the most controversial figures in gaming will resign tomorrow. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick leaves after a mega merger with Microsoft and the settling of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with employees. His departure caps a tumultuous year in the world's fastest-growing entertainment sector. Finn Hogan has more.
You'll find new guys.
While he once starred in Moneyball across from Brad Pitt, in the eyes of the video game community, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick often played the villain.
Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision Blizzard, just cannot help being the absolute worst.
His 3-decade tenure at the company that made Call of Duty and World of Warcraft ends the same month it reached a $50 million settlement over claims of widespread discrimination against female staff.
Games are such a diverse community that I think it was inevitable that a company like Activision Blizzard would face scrutiny for some of their actions, and it's great to see people being brought to light that aren't a positive influence on the industry.
Controversies. Kotick's lasting legacy will be shepherding Activision Blizzard through a $100 billion acquisition by Microsoft, creating a new titan in gaming.
Such a massive company now owning so much property and IP and developing that's going to have an impact on all the other studios. It also means that for the space in the industry to be taken even more seriously.
So as a post-Kotick era dawns, whether the premier gaming company's culture will level up alongside its profit margin remains to be seen. Finn Hogan, News Hub.
So yes, this is good news for those who was treated badly under Bobby Kotick. So a new day is upon us. Microsoft has full reign of Activision Blizzard. Let's see what that would produce for Xbox gamers and for the industry as a whole. Next up, the game that a lot of Sony fans are looking forward to, Stellar Blade. This is the game that looks like Bayonetta. It has some Souls-like elements in it. That game was a game that most Sony fans was looking forward to in 2023. Well, news came out recently saying this.
Surprise! PS5 exclusive Stellar Blade has been delayed to 2024. If you were anticipating an action-packed weekend of Stellar Blade action, then you probably should have known better, to be honest. Despite being scheduled to release in 2023, it was pretty clear earlier this year that Korean developer Shift Up's console debut would take a little longer to launch on PS5. It's now been included in a list of PS blog highlights, with a 2024 release window attached. Stellar Blade is an action-adventure game making its way to PS5 next year, the blog post reads. This hack-and-slash title puts players in control of the stylish heroine Eve, as she takes on the Natives, a force ravaging Earth while surviving humans escape to an outer space colony. Stellar Blade combines sharp action with stunning visuals and a mature narrative to create something all new. Players will have to master a balanced offense and defense to survive against hordes of out-of-this-world enemies.
I mean, how much bad news could Sony fans get? We just spoke about Concord, Sony's not talking about it. Now, Stellar Blade is being delayed. Now, after having a year of basically nothing, this would have top of the year good for any Sony fan, but it's delayed until 2024. Now, did they give an exact date as to when this game would be released in 2024? The answer is no. So we don't know if this is in the first half or the second half or even later down in the year. So, let me hear what you think about another delay here for, Sony. Why you guys have no games? This thing is very alarming. Next up, let's talk about The Last of Us 2 Remastered. You see, not too long ago, Sony would have released this game. They released the same game about 3 or 4 times. I don't know what's going on there at Sony. But they have the idea that they can get this easy cash grab from their fan base. They have the idea that, if they just remaster a game that don't even need being remastered, they can get some easy money because Sony fans don't, call Sony out for their foolishness. Well, it seems like this is some good news for PlayStation, by the way. The fans are speaking with their wallet because it's been reported that The Last of Us 2 Remastered is down 44% from their previous remaster. The Last of Us Part 2 sold 44% fewer copies than predecessor. Good on you, ponies. Listen up to the article.
The Last of Us Part 2 was among the PS4's final first-party games. As one of the swan songs of the console, it had big expectations to meet, but Naughty Dog's story became divisive and controversial among the fans. While the game was far from a failure, with positive reviews and promising sales, recent leaks reveal The Last of Us Part 2 of May have suffered from a major sales drop-off. According to a report, this title sold around 10 million copies, falling behind its predecessor. Why it matters? The franchise has received a lot of attention from PlayStation and Naughty Dog recently, with the studio seemingly limiting itself to remasters of The Last of Us. However, the sales figures suggest that Part 2 was not the biggest success. This data comes from the latest Insomniac leaks, confirming the sales figures for various PlayStation games, including Bloodborne's total sales. The report states PlayStation sold 18 million units of The Last of Us Remastered. This is a major difference, and it only becomes larger when counting the 8 million sales of the original PS3 version. The first game sold 26 million units in total, but Sony has yet to provide figures for its sequel beyond 10 million sales. While the date from the leaks might be a few months old, it shows a massive difference. Still, much of this difference comes from the long shelf life of the first game. Part 2 has been on the market for just 3 years, while the first game is nearing its 11th anniversary. The Last of Us Part 2 had many strengths. Many consider the story more gripping and emotional than the first games. It was also a more ambitious title, lasting twice as long as the first game.
So as I said before, this is good news for PlayStation fans because we're seeing that this game is looking like a failure, right? I don't think having all of these remasters is good for the industry. The industry needs to innovate, the industry needs to pump out new games and new experiences for its fans. Remastering games that are not even that old could never be good for the industry. So let me hear what you think about all these news. Let me hear how you feel about Bobby Kotick leaving Activision Blizzard. Let me hear what you think about Concord being, Sony being silent about Concord and about Stellar Blade being delayed. Let me know what you think about all this and more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.